KO Dot have returned to Root's first scene many ages ago with Choirs of the Eye. Wow! Title of the track is Vanishing Act in Blinding Gray. This is, oh man. Evil Toad, I don't know if you know KO Dot, but get on board, buddy. CKN Club for life. How's everybody doing? KO Dot are back? Yes. They released Blasphemy just 2 weeks ago. I wanted to get to it with a review, but unfortunately did not. Expect to see them later this year, for sure, because goddamn, this album is absurd. It is very good. Is it top 10? I'm not sure if it's top 10, but it is very good. And of course, considering we will probably never see another Model in the Well album ever again unless he goes the crowdfunding route, Toby Driver that is, once again, which is how we got Part the Second back in 2009. KO Dot is the project that we will see, which is essentially Model in the Well 2.0 anyhow. We'll actually follow up Vanishing Act in Blinding Gray by KO Dot with something that goes all the way back to their very first album. We're going to hit with I'm going to hit you with Marathon from Choirs of the Eye. Just what a terrific group. And I'm actually going to have to find another one. We now have Last FM. Let's see if this one works better. I did get Last FM back at the request of some, mainly Waterblanc. There we go. And what I'm hoping that I'll be able to do is, I'm hoping that I will be able to use the YouTube Scrobbler in order to help you guys out whenever it comes to following what songs are being played during the streams. In order to do so, or if you wish to request, if you are on Last FM, you can follow the link that was just posted into chat. That will be a great way to track a couple of the songs that have been played. I know my pronunciation is very poor, but I also know that many of you wish to know what is being played, so I want to give you that ability to discover it. You can't really tell my current music tastes too much from the statistics that I had, because I have not used my Last FM account in 6 years. The last Scrabbles that I did were back in 2013, as OA correctly identified. It was August of that year. YouTube Scrabbler can indeed make some problems. That's why I need to make sure that I pay special attention to a little icon that I have in my upper right hand corner. Whenever I'm searching tracks and playing tracks, I want to make sure that those do scrabble the information. If it is something that is impossible, or if there's no information that's available to it, then unfortunately I'll just have to sort of suck it up and deal with it, you know. You'll find a lot of different things on the Last FM. Things have certainly changed, but not changed much in 6 years. The top spots are pretty well solidified, set in stone. I was surprised to learn that the album that I scrabbled the most was actually Anima from Tool, which I find to be very interesting. But it kind of goes back to what I stated during the review for Anima that we did a couple weeks ago, that if you happen to be playing all of your music on shuffle and one song from that album comes up, you want to stop the shuffle and play the rest of the album. You're already 3,300, damn dude. You are doing well. I got this back last night. I've already scrabbled about 150. Though, admittedly, I had a playlist that I was playing last night because I figured I was going to be up for a while and fell asleep while the playlist was on. So, sleep scrabbling, it's a thing. It's a thing I definitely did. And whenever I woke up, I just sort of moved along with my day and didn't think about it. So, you know. Killers by Iron Maiden. The album is largely seen as a classic in certain pockets of fans. There are older fans that love that album. I myself think that it's just okay. Both of the Paul Di'Anno era albums are just okay. You know what I mean? For what they are very good. But had they not changed over and gotten Bruce as the vocalist, I don't know if Iron Maiden gets the reputation that they do and becomes the band that they are. I think that Bruce was simply the missing piece. And this isn't... I'm taking nothing away from Paul Di'Anno, who is a fine vocalist in his own right. But identity-wise, for that band, they needed a vocalist that was almost like a fifth or sixth instrument. And that's exactly what they required. Have I seen Singles? Oh gosh, yes, Reproductor. I haven't seen that film in a long time. I'll give you a little window into me. I don't buy a lot of movies, like on DVD or anything like that. I worked at a music store that also sold DVDs for 5.5 years, and in that time frame, I saw that film in my store once. And before I had the opportunity to purchase it, it had been purchased by someone else. And I never saw the film in the store again. It was a used copy. It was pretty expensive. Sometimes that film can be as elusive as Drop Dead Fred, which, if you see a copy of Drop Dead Fred in a used music store or movie store, it's probably going to command outrageous prices. And I believe the reason for that is because they never did a second run of that film on DVD. And I believe that also the rights are a bit tied up. So I guess it's kind of rare to see a copy of that. I do have a copy of that. It's not mine. It's Miss CKN's. She really loved that movie, and whenever we first got together, we happened to get a copy in the store, and I purchased it for her. PlayStation Metalhead with $2.99 wants to hear Praise Abort by Lindman. PlayStation 1, 2, 3, or 4. Which of those selections on the left would you like your $2.99 to go to? Thank you very much. I appreciate it. I wouldn't really call them pre-Maiden with Di'Anno. I would say that if somebody was getting into the band for the very first time, that they should automatically aim for Bruce albums. Become a fan of the Bruce albums, become a fan of the band, and then explore the Di'Anno era, and then explore the Blaze Bayley era. I don't think you get a very good indication. I'm just going to make that $3, by the way, PlayStation Metalhead. I'm just going to give you the penny. The rare number 4, indeed. But new fans should always start with Bruce records. And hopefully by the time they become a fan of Maiden, then you should move on to the Blaze Bayley and the Paul Di'Anno era work. Should you listen to the Bayley albums? Absolutely. The X Factor is exceptional. It is a wonderful, wonderful album. Very dark. There's a lot going on in the band with some of the members, so it caused that album to have a very dark turn to it. If I remember to, later in the stream, if we ever get a free moment, I'll play a track off of the X Factor. Virtual 11 is nowhere near as good. I call it a 50-50 record because half of the songs are really good, in my opinion, while the other half are terrible. Like, they would have been apt B-sides, and that's what they feel like. They feel like B-sides to the 4 songs that are good. Because Como Esta Amigos is fantastic, Future Real is great, The Educated Fool is wonderful, and The Klansman is terrific. Those 4 songs are great. But songs like The Angel and the Gambler are historically poor, considering it's a 9.5 minute long song and it repeats one section, I think it's 26 times. The CKN like Weezer. CKN is a big fan of old Weezer, and my tech department out in Ohio is a massive Weezer fan, but even she is not exactly on the up and up whenever it comes to the more recent work. We've in fact discussed Weezer at length, considering the love and the obsession with what she has addressed as hipster fans for the album Pinkerton, which is very, very true. Pinkerton is very different. It's a highbrow album whenever it comes to who likes it. Definitely doesn't have sort of the same vibe to it as Maladroit or the first disc or the Blue Album, etc. So Weezer's going to release an album called Van Weezer. That sounds like them. How about the Priest Ripper albums? Those are a little more challenging, I think, for fans to accept because they are very used to the dynamic range of Rob Halford. But I think that Ripper Owens does a fine job on both discs. I personally, I don't have them in my collection. They're a little hard for me to come by. But I would like to own both of them. I would like to have both Demolition and Jugular. Because whenever we were much younger, my best friend got Jugular, or Jugulator, and I thought it was a good album. I think that it gets a little bit, it gets unfair hate. I thought it was a better album than, say, Virtual 11 by Iron Maiden. So it actually brings up a very odd scenario where, despite the fact that both Ripper era Priest albums are pretty decent, Iron Maiden with the Bailey era had one album that I think is just exceptional, which is the X Factor. So I would say that out of the two bands, the one that got sort of the better, fared better with their replacement vocalist was probably Maiden by a very thin margin. The only way that probably changes is if Bailey were on Brave New World, because that album would not have the glorious sound that it has. It would not be the same disc if Brave New World featured Blaze Bailey on vocals, which is fine that it doesn't, because at that point, once he was out of the band, he was already writing his solo stuff. He was about to release Silicon Messiah, which is a fantastic disc. The 10th Dimension, which followed it up, was equally, if not better, than what Silicon Messiah did. Blood and Belief was a heavier album that was quite good, that came more toward the middle part of the 2000s. His recent stuff has become a little bit more up and down. You kind of have to pick and choose. But as a solo performer, Blaze is very solid. Is he going to set your world on fire? I don't think so. But is he going to release solid records that you can enjoy if you're a fan of traditional heavy metal? Absolutely. Here is Praise Abort by Lindman. Again, I want to make sure that this scrobbles, that way you guys can check it out. And that one is a no. Well, darn. Well, you guys know what this is. I can tell you what this is. I'm not going to go ham and go to like 7 different versions just so I can scrobble things. How about the River Iced Earth albums? Hi, Perused Mist. I'm doing alright. Thank you. The Ripper era Iced Earth albums aren't bad. Again, Ripper has this unfortunate he's had this unfortunate quest or life where he has been sort of picked to follow vocalists that are themselves considered iconic. So following up John Schaefer, for example, for Iced Earth fans was not going to be an easy feat whatsoever. Especially considering Ripper's vocal style is very different. It is very different. So I like the choice, but he was left with a rough task there too. Now, if you really want to scope out Ripper being Ripper, go all the way back to Winter's Bane, which was a band that he was in during the first part of the 1990s, I believe it was. They have an album entitled Heart of a Killer, which is very solid work. They reminded me a lot of what Nevermore was set to become. And obviously with a vocalist that does bear some similarity. However, I believe that Ripper's range, his high range especially, even eclipsed Worrell's by a little bit. That's right, it was Matt Barlow. You're absolutely right. My apologies there, OA. Whenever I think of Iced Earth, the first name that comes to mind is John Schaefer. So, that's my own fault. But you know what I was talking about. That replacement was not going to be easy. And Iced Earth had gone through a handful of vocalists already, especially whenever it comes to their early work. Their early work was sort of littered with some different attempts at really capturing that sound. But Whitechapel's latest album, it was just okay. It was just okay. My OCD requires I put 20 cents into number 1 and the remaining 29 number 3 requirement or rec is Sirens by Unbeing. There will be 2 videos of it, one labeled instrumental and one labeled narrative. Play the one labeled narrative. Will do, Evil Toad. That tells me this is going to be a long sumbitch. 29.20. Thank you very much, dude. We will get on to that very shortly. I really hope that this this Squabble thing works out well. I really do. I need to remember what the other one was for. 29, there it is, for number 3, right? Yes, it is. 29 and the number 3. Number 3 getting some love, getting up to $65. Now, for those of you who are new, Bid War is going on. This is for a couple of bonus lists that otherwise would not be made in December, right before the channel expires, right before the channel ends. I'm kind of tossing back and forth the idea of having 2 things really end the channel. Originally, I was thinking it would be album of the year. If a couple of these videos get funded, that would change a little bit because I need album of the year to reveal the best album of the year, obviously, and then apply that to say number 2. And some of the albums that I would discuss in that would be applied to number 3. So that would extend the life of the channel by 2 more videos. But then following that, I do kind of want to make one final video after that that is sort of a more formal goodbye. That way I can post that not only on the channel for everybody and have it be personal, have it be intimate, from the heart, which I don't think I would know how to do anything otherwise in that situation. However, also have one final stream. And maybe have some, astronomical, some weird goal. That way, everyone had the opportunity to come hang out. Maybe request a little music. Maybe show their appreciation if they want to do that, I hate saying that in that format, in that way because, and I can give you an example. Today I was out because I had a couple jobs to do, because this is still during the time of the year where I'm out and usually doing some lawn service or a little bit of landscaping or just running around. I mean, I am pretty much an odd job extraordinaire, and that's another reason why I kind of can't wait to get to something different, because I like cutting grass so very much, but I don't want to make a career out of it, and I don't want it to seem like such an important part of each week that I need it. But at any rate, whenever I was over there, you think somebody spotted me? Uh-oh. I'm not deleting my videos, no. No, they will not be deleted. But whenever I was over there, my mother was watching The Talk, which she absolutely loves that show. She loves The Talk. That's the one thing, aside from like Judge Judy, that she loves in the afternoon. And before The Talk comes on, there is some show with Michael Strahan and Sarah and Kiki, and they're having this big old frickin' deal about the one fucker's birthday, the one chick's birthday. And they were just repeating it over and over again, and she just outright said, I want to have a dinner, that way people can come out and appreciate me and appreciate the fact that I did one more revolution around the sun. And I'm thinking, good freaking Lord. Like, how vapid does that sound? But whenever I say appreciation, know that I mean, considering it would be the final stream of 2019, there would be no videos that would follow in 2020. There will probably be a couple of streams in 2020. Because here's the thing, I'm going to stop making reviews and that kind of content, but it's going to be really hard for me not to sit down every so often and just chat with you guys and hang out. Because this is a little different than manufacturing content. We're having fun here. It's a chance to sort of go behind the curtain a little bit. It's a chance to really become a little bit closer with your content creator instead of them just seeming like this box, or this man in the box or woman in the box. And plus we gotta talk tunes. I might not be making videos to talk tunes, but it doesn't mean I'm going to get out of music at all, completely. That's not going to happen. We have Sirens from Unbeing. Again, I'm unsure whether or not this is going to scrabble. We're going to take a look real quick, because I do see that there's another option available. This is also taking a couple minutes to load. That's odd for YouTube. That is a big no. Okay, we're going to try a different one. I see this one right here. That may not work either. Oh wait, there it is. Perfect. Jet PayPal. Will do. Dom is rich. His $4 donation is here, and we will discuss what we have on our hands. Thank you very much in advance, Dom. I appreciate it. Thanks also to Evil Toad. What we have here is, what up, CKN? Call me Slim Shady because I'm back and not Slim. Speaking of Tim Vocal Cord Ripper Owens, can we hear it when stars collide by Iced Earth Cave? Thanks. Bye. Love and kisses. We can do that. But the only way that we can do that, Dom, is if you tell me 1, 2, 3, or 4. Which video will the $4 be supporting? Thank you, thank you, thank you. How dare I start without you? Hey. Hey, hey, hey. I'll tell you, buddy. I'll tell you, Blonky. He says number 4, by the way, Dom does. I have something to show you, Blonky. Oh, no I don't, apparently. Whoops. Copy pasting, that's a thing. But Water Blanc, it's back. It is back. Oh, you know? Okay, never mind. Well, for anybody else, I've gotten the YouTube Scrobbler working pretty well, but you have to sort of pick and choose which one, like which song that you play. Last night I actually had a bit of a I had a bit of a mishap with a Portugal the Man song called Stables and Chairs. Whoever uploaded it reversed it, so it made Stables and Chairs look like the artist and Portugal the Man the song. So, yeah. Is there some buffering issue? I wouldn't be surprised if there was a little bit of buffering. YouTube has been really kind of asinine these past couple of days, which has honestly made me a little bit upset, because these last couple of days I've really been in desperate need of just some relaxation and just some time to breathe. Because I'll tell you, for those that don't know, my great uncle passed last week, passed on 9/11. So his viewing was on Monday in the middle of the day, which made no sense. It was from 2 to 5 and then from 6 to 9. So I was, it was also an hour away. So I was gone by noon, and I think that we got back into town at like 10, because we left a little early. I get Scrabble reviews and live streams accidentally. If it happens, it happens. You know? I'm not ashamed of what I play on YouTube, if I'm being honest with you. I'm not ashamed of that. You're going to see some stuff on that audio, on that last FM, that you would probably not expect me to care about or like, and, well, all I can say is suck it up, Buttercup. Because that's mine and mine alone. I'm not, I don't listen to music to impress other people. And you guys know that, and I'm sure you guys do the same way and feel the same way. But at any rate, the funeral for my great uncle was yesterday, which it started at 10:30, but we had to be at the funeral home by 9:30. Like I said, it was an hour plus away, so I was up at 7, and we didn't get home yesterday till about 5. I thought about coming home, setting up, and cranking out a stream last night, and it just didn't happen. It honestly just did not happen. You know, I wanted to, but it just wasn't meant to be. It was not meant to be yesterday, so... And it almost wasn't meant to be today, either. Because like I said, I did a couple jobs before I came home and then decided to go live. But I'll tell you, the reason why we're a little late is because I got home a little late. I didn't get home till about 4:15. And man, I'm exhausted. Not to mention, I'm in a ton of pain. I'm in a fuck ton of pain this week. Like, funerals and the like, even if it's somebody that you're kind of like happy passed away, I know that sounds really fucked, but I'm very glad that my great uncle passed. In fact, I'm not a praying man, but I quote unquote prayed for it last Monday, and it happened on Wednesday, so hey, big props to whatever or whoever's upstairs for, you know, letting it happen. You know, friendly coincidence or divine intervention, whatever it might be, doesn't really matter to me. I'm just glad it happened. But it's still so emotionally and physically exhausting. Because you know that no matter what, no matter how comfortable a chair is at a funeral home, it's not comfortable. You know, you're going to be in pain by the time you sit up or stand up. It doesn't matter if you're going out to eat afterward or whatever. Like, I honestly found myself in more pain those 2 days from doing very basic and just very simple things, standing and sitting, than pain that I was in whenever I would be out like walking the mountains that are close to my place, or the days when I used to do 3 or 4 yards in one day, as including travel time. Zach, how you doing? Rick, I do believe that is correct. He was 75 years old. He was 75 years old, and at that age, even if you are in wonderful health, one little thing could go wrong, and that would be that. Zach, everything is about as good as it could be. There's a ton going on behind the scenes that I don't really feel like getting into on stream, at least not today. But I'm doing my best, brother. That's all I can say. Waterblood coming in with the 449. I'll have to do a little conversion once I hear some Sailor with the Awakening. And I have a feeling, knowing the history of Monsieur Blanc, that this will be going to number 1. Oh, I know, Water Blanc. You know that I am not shy whenever it comes to venting. That's sort of the thing. This is a day where I do not feel like venting. Or, if I'm being more specific, you guys would not be whom I would want to vent to. I would rather have a nice, elongated 2.5 hour conversation with my tech department and vent to her a little bit, considering she's been venting to me a lot. There's a lot going on there, and I know that if I vent with you guys, I'm going to leave feeling great. And I love you guys. There's something about venting and talking with her that is just a little inch higher. Plus, a lot of the stuff that's going on is relatively, like we're having problems here within the building. The landlord has just sent out letters that are just absurd, rude, and I'm considering potentially illegal. I mean, there might be some legal issues here, because they're asking for some. They basically said to us, without directly stating it, by the way, Waterblanc with the 229 euros, once a year, some Portnagar cold runs the river. We'll do a little bit more conversion. That's going to go toward number 1 once I get that amount. Basically told us in no short order, either 253. Basically said, well, we have other people that are interested in renting the property, so you need to let us know if you're moving out or not. And if you are, please leave. Like, get out of here. It just, every single time these assholes send a letter, every time these assholes do anything, which, by the way, is not the things that they should be doing, if I can just throw that out there, now I am going to start venting. They can't do the shit that they need to do in order to keep this building looking like, an actual livable place. But, goddamn, can they fucking send a letter that sounds like they are just, Jesus incarnate and you're a piece of shit. Personally speaking, I hope one of them is in chat right now. I know they're not, but man, would I like that. Because they need to hear it. They need to hear this shit. They need to understand that they are far from perfect. We might be far from perfect too, but goddamn. I'm just going to tell you this right now. I'll be open with you. This building, not necessarily my apartment per se. We've had a couple of issues with this, but it was to the point where we needed to participate in the fumigation as well. Fumigation was for cockroaches. There's a real problem with that in this building. That's a real issue. And the problem didn't go away because the solution that they chose was just to bomb, as opposed to get professionals to come in and, take care of it. They decided to go with the cheap solution for this building, which has 4 apartments, all of which are filled with paying tenants. But yet, they choose the solution that's the cheapest for that, but put a $2,000 fence. It looks like crap and isn't going to block off anything on a piece of property that is the size of a large Chicago-style slice of pizza. They got ripped off completely. Well, no, they didn't. They didn't get ripped off. They willingly spent $2,000 on a fence that they say is going to entice somebody into wanting to buy this car lot. The only thing that's happening in that car lot are people are using it to turn around whenever they turn down this alley and realize it's not the main road. That's all that's happening. You don't have a sniff, you don't have a snatch, you don't have an inkling. So, yeah. If they really expect people to be Johnny on the spot with everything, they gotta show themselves to be Johnny on the spot of what they need to do. It's the way I look at it. And I understand that's probably not the right way to go about things. You're in contract with them, so you owe them this and owe them that. I am owed, based off of that contract, a livable place. An abode that is safe. That doesn't put the health of myself or any other inhabitant in this building, really, not just my apartment, but the building, at risk. That's not happening. Neighbor over there had a piece of his ceiling fall on him while he was asleep. He had another piece of ceiling fall back in January or early February that didn't get repaired for 3 months. So he had a big hole in his kitchen ceiling for 3 months. I had a hole in my kitchen ceiling for a month. The pipes in this place are so shit that they rusted through, so water was just flowing from my apartment into the one below me. And they're like, where's this water coming from? Must be something you guys are doing up there. Maybe you shouldn't shower as much. Maybe you're using too much water. And then they looked at the pipes and realized there's about half a fucking pipe. Three separate infestations. 3. I could make it 4 whenever it came to the alcoholics. There was a murder in the apartment below mine. There was a domestic assault in the apartment below mine. There was a domestic assault in the efficiency next door. There's a guy who literally drank himself to death, never left his apartment, had that place smelling like shit and ass, literally would poop himself on his couch. And they wonder why there's bugs? Gee, if you maybe would have listened to us whenever we said that's a health hazard, you would understand. But these fucks can't even show up. They can't even show up or step in there. I was in that building. I was in that fucking place. I'll tell you what that smelled like. You know how they say eaten back to life or regurgitated guts? That's what I imagine it smells like. That's what I imagine it smells like. Building sounds like it should be condemned? Oh yeah, it does. One phone call might make that possible. How is it not condemned? Because no inspector has probably touched this property in probably decades. They don't get regular inspections. We don't have some shithead come and check the freaking that everything's up to code every year. They won't pay for an exterminator, man. What makes you think they're going to pay for a code check or a maintenance check? Shit, buddy. Whew. Well, right now we are going to be. Here's what's cool about the fact that we'll probably be moving soon. We'll be moving into a house that we would eventually own, or that I guess I would eventually own because reasons. I don't know. We would be paying the exact same amount that we're paying here for rent, and probably less for utilities than here. But yet the amount of space that we will have in this place will probably either triple or quadruple the amount of space that we have here. And we won't have bugs. There won't be bugs on this property. We have to take care of shit whenever shit happens, but we were pretty much already doing that to begin with. Nothing new there. Nothing new there. The only things that we didn't take care of on our own were any pipe issues and laying the really, really crappy drywall to fix the ceiling that collapsed. I mean, all this, by the way, all this shit has just gone down in 2019 alone. I could tell you about the stuff from the past 4 years. Hi, how you doing? Oh, thank you. In the kitchen, you will see a small black container. Is the one that is on top of the other black container from Olive Garden? There is cheese in there. They had a cheese tray at the reception yesterday, and I thought maybe you would like some. There's Swiss, American, and it's a spicier cheese, so I think that's what that is. It might be that. If you want some of it. How'd the appointment go? You still half numb? Now that I look at your face while you're talking, yes. Everyone make fun of Faith. She looks like she has Bell's palsy. Even your tongue sticking out's weird. But instead of it being, it's like this. It's only on one side of the mouth. Anyway. Anyhow, ladies and gents, we have a couple things to take a look at here. We have Guacamole coming in with a donation of his own, $2 Belgian waffle in the house, y'all. Wants to hear some anal cunt. Wants to hear Hepasaurus. Says he feels sorry for me. Brother, it's all good. I want to tell you, I guess what I hate is I hate that I am continuously just quote-unquote getting through as opposed to really being on top of things. Bulgaria, damn it. Fucking hell, man. See, maybe if I was unable, or if I didn't have all this other crap to worry about, I would remember things. Like, you know, where people live. Or, you know, somebody's birthday. Or just my name. Heading toward number 1. Thank you very much, Guacamole. I appreciate that. I appreciate it so much. We still have 8 minutes left in Saris by Unbeing, which was requested by Evil Toad. It's been quite the experience. Reminds me of a band that actually sent me their work, which that band was Glasswing. It was a very cinematic style album, and they also boasted a number of longer songs on that disc. I was appreciative that they sent it to me. It was very rough. Like, if I were to be 100% honest, it was a rough affair. One that the music, you know, the musicians themselves are mature, but some of the writing and construction, I think, needed some polish. That's about it. We have a lot coming out in the next couple weeks. This week is looking like it's pretty spry. It's it's kind of a pick and choose week. You have the Agonist coming out. You know, that's kind of a love 'em or hate 'em thing. But next week, man, Steel Panther, Opeth, lots of stuff. Borg Nagar. So next week, I would definitely expect a couple of reviews. At least, there's going to be at least 2. Also, next week, expect the 5 reasons why people hate Steel Panther video to go live. That has already been shot, and it has been edited, rendered. It's pretty much good to go. I do want that to drop close to the album, however. Did I hear the new Atlantean Codex? I have not. Not as of yet. This past weekend got rather screwed up with plans for the funeral and everything like that. Because we didn't know when everything was going to go down until, God, it was like Sunday night, like late Sunday night, and we didn't know when the Mass was going to be, the service for the funeral, until Monday afternoon whenever we went down for the viewing. We had no idea. The way we found out by looking at the book that you signed that had information about everything. So nobody told us shit. We got treated like mushrooms. We do 5 reasons people hate Queensrÿche. The number of rankables that are still left to be done is pretty nuts. It's pretty crazy. 5 reasons. I think we're down to like just 1 more that needs done. So I may have some leniency to maybe do a couple from a hit list. Queensrÿche would maybe be one of them. Though I think a lot of that would be my own frustration coming out. Though I've talked with a number of people who have mirrored my sentiment that the Jeff Tate post-Empire era is extremely inconsistent. Ridiculous alert, says Maru. I wonder what a ridiculous alert is. It actually means $15 from Maru. Everfrost with Act Razor. The 69 Eyes featuring Danny Filth with 2 horns up. Good, bad, ridiculous, she asks. And Vespirith with Fractal Flesh. $10 heading toward number 1, and the rest, which is the $5, heading toward number 4. This is a very interesting song. I'm not sure if I would necessarily call it, I wouldn't call it bad, but it's kind of hard for me to call it like really, really good. Because those stop-starts are very interesting, to say the least. No one really does talk about Hanging Garden at all, Evil Toad. Dude, I remember Hanging Garden from like, God, 06? 07? They're a bit of a different band than what they were whenever they first dropped, but still really good. I'm doing a Rank 'em All Rush? I am. That is very true. I am doing a Rank 'em All Rush. There's a Rank 'em All Behemoth. Evil Toad actually sent me an email wondering if I wanted to sidestep the Rank 'em All Overkill, but I already have the list made. I just need to actually record the video, so I'll be doing that. And also, what will probably appease a few other folks in chat. He has special requested a review for a Persephone album that many of you are quite enthralled by. So that'll be probably the one lone classic quote-unquote review that I will do during this stretch. But also, there will be a rank 'em all for Catatonia, Machine Head, In Flames. Oh boy, I need to grab my list. I'm trying to go from memory, and that's never a smart thing to do. Let's see how badly this buffers the stream. Me getting this up and running. Alright, I will just list them all for you as I see them. Catatonia, Machine Head, In Flames, Behemoth, Rush, Overkill, Enslaved, Meshuggah, and Kill Switch Engage. Those are all of the rank 'em all. Oh, and Pink Floyd. I have that crossed out because I've recorded it, but I have not yet edited it. We have a ton of rank 'em alls. Whenever these videos were put to, were put up for auction, I guess, because this was part of Video Mania last year, a lot of those. Rank 'em all was the style of video that I guess you guys liked the most, considering every person who won Viewer's Choice basically requested a rank 'em all. I have a lot of albums to go through. Most of the lists are already created. The only one that hasn't been created yet is Behemoth's. So a lot of the lists are already there. It's more so just recording and editing. The editing for some of those is going to be a bit of a nightmare. I have a very simple process for it. But whenever you get into, 18 or 19 albums, it becomes just kind of a slog. Editing becomes a very blah thing. It becomes a very blah thing. We follow up that mammoth monster that we are thankful for, thanks to Evil Toad, with a track from Iced Earth. We were talking about Ripper Owens, and Dom wanted to hear When Stars Collide by Iced Earth, so let's do that. And I think I'm going to have to take a short break here very, very shortly. I know that was redundant. I see the ones that won't scrobble, those ones that are manufactured by YouTube. They do not like those at all, probably because there's no artist data in the title. That's probably what it is. Well, it's whatever. Yes, Rush does have 20. That is very true. Has Overkill become too samey? It really depends on what your definition of samey is. Thrash metal as a whole is very samey. And that is very true of just about any genre. I think that Overkill, what has happened is that some of their songwriting is kind of decaying a little bit. They've always had little tracks that feel like they're not quite that super pro, super legendary level. I think they're having a little bit more fun these days. Back in the 1980s, man, they were just a raw fucking band. They were really, really raw. You listen to some of the stuff that's on, Under the Influence and Taking Over, and man, you just heard a band that had a fire in their belly. And even if you go to a more modern era albums such as Killbox 13, you get a great fashion of what they do. Because every single time they release a new album, whenever you first hear it, it feels big and it feels dense and it feels, mean as hell. They just have that sort of influence. But not every album can be the Years of Decay. Because that was their album where they did things extremely different. They sampled with long songs and did a really good job with it. I'm a very big fan of the Years of Decay. It may actually be my favorite Overkill album. And that's that's also taking into account that I love the hell out of Killbox 13. I love Taking Over, Under the Influence. Feel the Fire is just fantastic. There's been a lot of terrific Overkill albums. That's another one of those situations where, with Overkill at least, there are very few bad decisions for first Overkill album, and really, unlike with some other bands, a bad Overkill album just means that nothing feels memorable about it. And there aren't many albums in their discography that have that feeling to it. I have not looked. Well, I glanced at yours momentarily last night, Waterblanc. I was more so curious as to how many Scrubbles that the Zeitgeist had possessed prior to me seeing it. And right on, it was about what I expected. I also very much appreciated your description, your profile description. For those who are curious about Last.fm or use Last.fm, this is a new way that you can track songs, although right now it is not working for When Stars Collide. Again, the YouTube scrobbler is really choosy, but I'd like to use this as a way to help track what is being played during these streams for you guys to scope out, and that stuff. Scott is in the building. How are you doing, Scotty boy? You missed a rant just a little while ago, but it had nothing to do with music, so what are you going to do? I'm going to actually step away for a couple of minutes while The Awakening by Sayar plays. This is from Aura. I'm going to make sure that this one actually does scrabble. This ad stuff is just none of my business. Make sure this works out. It does. That's just wonderful. But yes, I will actually be rolling off for just a couple of minutes. I will be right back. What album should you listen to first in order to get to Overkill? Sam, the first album of theirs I ever got was Taking Over, and it made me a fan for life. So Taking Over, like I said, Under the Influence, Killbox 13 for a more modern album, Ironbound. If you really like... The thing about some of the first ones that I told you about, like Under the Influence and Taking Over, is that first of all, they might be a little harder to find, and second of all, the recording quality is not what you would be used to, because they were released in the 1980s. So if you want something modern that will kick your ass and get you into the band, Ironbound is a tremendous start, as well as Killbox 13 both. But anyhow, I will be right back, and we can talk more about Overkill. We could perhaps talk about other bands that you may want to see Rank 'Em Alls or 5 Reasons videos for. Or maybe we can just come up with something completely and totally random and different. Who knows? But I'll be right back. Don't go away. Don't touch that dial. Don't do anything. Just sit back, get cozy, get comfy. And hey, remember, got a bid war going on. Did I accurately assess those totals over there? I did. Very good. Alright. I will return momentarily. BRB. Yeah. Oh. I'm going to close the store. I'm closing the store. Howdy, 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 howdy. I think we started up on another track. Yes, we did. Unfortunately, we cannot continue with Children of the Mist because it wasn't requested. That was just some overlap. At $6 coming in from Justin, I'm going to toss that over here and let you know what's up with that momentarily. We got to get to our next track. We're going to get to what's next on our Cavalcade of Fun. By the way, in case you're wondering, all funds from the bid war are being used to aid with moving costs as well as day-to-day life. Because, let me tell you something, whenever we move, we're actually going to be paying less to live in a house than we are paying here in this apartment building. So please help. Please help. I would appreciate it. Thank you very much. Up next, we have some Borknagar. Borknagar has a brand new album that will be coming out very, very soon. In fact, next week, because holy crap, they're releasing it the same day as Opeth's, so how about Musical Orgasm for me? This one comes off of Winter Thrice, which was released back in 2016 during Winter Storm Jonas Brothers. This is Cold Runs the River, requested honorably by Waterblanc. I do appreciate that. Who uses Instagram? I do. I do use Instagram, though not often. Attitude by Metallica, I believe that's what, like a 4 or 5 minute long track, it'd be $5. It's $1 per minute for song requests. I thank you. If you do request, if you do toss out some money, we'll get that song request in during the stream, as well as you'll be able to pick where that dollar amount goes to whenever it comes to the bid board that you see to your left. Like, for example, Justin Neely wants his $6 to go to number 2. He wants to hear Legend of the Seagull Men with their song The Fogger. And he posts this comment. He says, "This is a good one. Do you like any of Robert Rich's music? I've been getting into some ambient music lately. Great for thinking and sleeping. 2 of my favorite things to do." I agree. What are some of my favorite ambient artists or albums? I don't listen to a lot of it. Usually whenever I'm aiming to fall asleep, I listen to a lot of post-rock in order to do that. Sometimes like some Miles Davis and old school jazz is sort of one of my go-tos. Was one of my go-tos last night. It's probably why I ended up sleep scrobbling. But I don't do a ton of ambient music, though there have been a lot of artists that have utilized ambience within their sound that I've liked. Like K.O. Dot is one of them. Toby Driver himself from K.O. Dot had a solo record entitled In the Library Loft, and that was extremely ambient. That was almost like, that was really, really soft, mind you. Now, mind you, it might have been the playback or the feed that I had of it, but yeah. Scott McCumber coming in, showing you how it's done. He wants to hear some Opeth in preparation for their new album next week. But he wants to go all the way back to one of my favorite albums of all time and my favorite Opeth album. He wants to go back to Still Life, Your Serenity Painted Death. Apply his $10 to number 1. Which, by the way, just to give it a little bit of a piece of context, hi Pen Pencil, how you doing, how you doing? Number 1 is killing it. Antimatter, by the way, also some really good, somewhat ambient tunes. Lights Out, wow. Really good stuff. Do I play guitar? I used to, many, many years ago, and I was not very good at it. So currently my guitar is sitting in its case with the amp right next to it in my storage loft, which also, consequently, used to be Studio 1.0. But anyway, in the bid war, number 1 is killing it right now. Top 50 albums of all time, $312.61. By the way, if a video makes it to $600, you ignore the bid rule or the bid war rules. It is guaranteed to be a video that is made. That is the goal. All 3 of those videos make it to $600. We're making all 4 of them. Did I say all 3? If all 4 of them make it to $600, we're making all 4 of them. And we'll also unlock a bonus video that will be based around the worst albums of the 2010s. And will be done in full rant mode. So if you are a big fan of rants, you want all of these to be made. Because we will have 2 rants near the end of the year. Because the top 10 metal idiots of all time is also one of them. Speaking of number 2, second place we have top 25 albums of the 2010s at $65. And tied for third place at $21 a piece, we have the number 1 albums from 2010 to 2019 ranked. So it'll be a rank 'em all episode. And then the aforementioned top 10 metal idiots of all time. Y'all can see. Y'all can freaking see. My thoughts on the Crypt Sermon album was that it was pretty decent. Not a bad disc. Nothing that set my world on fire, but it was serviceable, and I like that. I like that. Crypt Sermon, a pretty decent band. I think they slip under a lot of people's radars, despite the fact that the name has gained some prominence over the past few years. But that's usually within underground, like big fans of underground metal. That's the one thing about pure death metal, or some of its iterations, is that there have become so many iterations of death metal that it becomes a little hard to get to everything. And sometimes whenever you identify something, it doesn't exactly pop up as I need this, like essential listening. Like Infinite Annihilator was surprisingly essential listening simply because of the experience I had with them, what was that, 3 years ago. That album was really unique. And I'm not a deathcore guy, or I'm not a slam guy, but it had a lot of other elements that I loved. So I ended up taking to that album quite a bit and taking to the band. So whenever the Battle of Yadabaoth came out, I needed to hear it. I absolutely needed to hear it. Britney Spears, rank 'em all. Listen, you can try your best to say that Baby One More Time is not number 1, but Baby One More Time is number 1. I'm going to dabble in a little bit of high school gossip. And by that I mean this was something that literally happened back whenever I was in high school. My best friend kind of had a little chub for Miss Britney. For Miss Britney Spears back in the day. Back before his chub became for female vocals in heavy metal. If he were here, he'd probably hate the fact that I just disclosed that. Oh, you know what? No, he probably wouldn't. He probably would not. He'd probably just call me a fag or something like that, because that's him. The Infinite Annihilator album, is it worth listening to? I did a review of it. That was a good review. It was a glowing review. So, yes. Yes, it is. It is certainly worthwhile. We have Heaposaurus by Anal Cunt coming up next. Hopefully we can hopefully we can get just the track and not have to listen to the full freaking 5,643 song full EP. But we may not be that lucky. What in the hell? What is this? Excuse me? Oh no, we may have to listen to the full thing. Ah. Is this a list for everything on this? No, it's just the one video. The fools! The glorious fools. That definitely slowed things down quite a bit. I can tell. I need to see if I can't locate this. What we're going to do is just a little copy paste here. I typically keep the copy pastes for whenever absolutely necessary. What in the fudge is this garbage? No results found. Oh dear. See, I use YouTube, I don't use Spotify, so this could be a problem. This could be a problem. This could be a problem. Well, piss. Oh, that might be the problem. There we go. Imbosaurus. This one may not scrabble. Here we go. Brad Harris. Brad Harris coming in with $10. Oh, it actually did scrabble. I'm shocked. $10 for 10 minutes of Bellacore. Wants to hear Smoke of Many Fires. Excellent choice. Excellent choice. I am happy to hear you. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. That was it. Episaurus by Anal Cunt. Done. My dog won't stop punching me. That sounds like it should be an Anal Cunt song title. Dogs that punch people is gay. Brad, 1, 2, 3, or 4, where is that $10 headed? Thank you very much in advance, BTW. Super duper appreciative of that. That is the incorrect pin. I am a fool and a stupid idiot. Purgatory number 3 says, Mr. Brad Harris. I thank you. We will apply that momentarily. First, we're going to get Everfrost with their song Act Razor. By the way, it was a super freaking hard SNES game. Not sure if y'all know that. Not sure if y'all know that. But ActRaiser from Everfrost coming up next. I'm going to see if this one works. Oh god. Oh no, it's Grammarly. No, they've infected my home again. Just fucking hell. Track is not recognized. Oh well. This is Everfrost with ActRaiser. Oh, Brad has changed his amount. He wants to put 4 to number 3 and $6 to number 2. Let's do it. Let's do it right now. Number 3 is going to get 4. Takes it to 69. And 6 is going to go toward number 2. That's what you said, right? Yes, it is. Okay, good. Making sure. Thank you very much, Brad. It is appreciated. Big Dog 04. Here comes the big dog. Roman Reigns. If you're actually Roman Reigns, please donate $20,000. Thanks. If not, everybody press F to pay respects for the fact that it's not Roman Reigns. Anyhow. This is a modern recommendation, 100%. This is ActRaiser by Everfrost. You won't be seeing it on the Scrabble charts, unfortunately. So I'm too lazy to click off of it and go to another one that might work. That's a bit annoying. That's a bit irritating. When it comes to death, you can seldom go wrong. Individual thought patterns is a beast. Human is different. Really signaled a turnover from what they were doing with their 80s career. Scream Bloody Gore is a just phenomenal debut. Leprosy is, it's odd, but it's an album. It's got bite to it, I'll tell you. It's got some bite. You want some bite? There you go. And Symbolic and The Sound of Perseverance are just, they're perfect discs. They're amazing. They're amazing, man. Gorguts is tremendous. Colored Sands was a really, really good album. That was their comeback disc from a number of years ago. But we have two other tracks from Maru in the queue. Then we have, I believe, after that we have Justin's track before we get to Scott's. It might be flip-flopped. It might be inverted there. Let's take a look real quick. I want to make sure I'm giving you good information, because if not, then I'm a bad, bad boy. I'm a bad man. Yes, actually, Justin's will follow up Maru's Legend of the Seagullman. Then we'll have Serenity Painted to Death by Scott, and 10 minutes of Bellicor with the track Smoke of Many Fires, which was requested from Brad Harris, the most recent request that we just got in, and we're thankful for all of them. We are thankful for all of that. We've had some movers and shakers whenever it comes to our bid war. I am looking forward to see what happens after number one does hit $600, because right now it seems inevitable. Because I've noticed that every single bid war that we've ever done, or every Video Mania, this style of marathon that we've ever done, you guys have a target. You guys have a target in mind, and you assault that with everything. If you're currently wearing your Symbolic t-shirt and people say, look, oh man, I might be able to top you. I have a logo tee for Death. And that was the shirt that I happened to be wearing the night that the priest came in to deliver last rites to my grandmother. And my mother called me that night and said, hey, Grandma's probably dying, you might want to come up. And I didn't even think to take off the shirt. So before the priest showed up, I turned it inside out. So yeah, that was a... I know that my grandmother was probably... Well, she wasn't looking down because she was still alive at that point, but it was just a matter of what minute it was going to happen. But I can guarantee you that with the way her sense of humor was, yeah, it's probably laughing at that fact. Two Horns Up featuring Danny Filth by the 69 Eyes. This was just posted a couple of days ago. This is brand spanking new. So enjoy this. I'm sure there will be at least one howl in here that will break the sound barrier. I have a friend that this one also is not recognized. What is happening here? Well, this idea was kind of a failure. Oh well, what are you going to do? I have a friend who actually lost a friend earlier this summer because she was unable to go to a 69 Eyes show. And the former friend now was, I guess, a rather large cunt about it. Scott coming through with the classics. We have Donkey-Headed Adversary of Humanity by Sleepytime Gorilla Museum. Scott, you are still like the one man that without any sort of prompting was able to tell me, hey, I know Sleepytime Gorilla Museum. I mean, obviously, Chat Now is a little bit more familiarized considering this is not the first time that you've requested them. Thank you, by the way. That's heading toward number 1, giving it 322.61. But Sleepy Time Gorilla Museum is not a group that many are aware of. And my FPS sucks right now. Dang, I'm getting like anywhere between 28, 19, 30, 17 frames a second. Awesome. That's great. Well, this is Wednesday. We are on a usual streaming day back in the day. I forget what my scheduling was last year. Wasn't it Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday? Or was it Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday? Oh yeah, it goes back? Okay, good. That's why. Okay, now we should be solid. At least solid-er. Nope. Uh-oh. I just want this thing to hold together long enough for us to get through these songs, man. That's fluctuating a bit more than I'd like. I'm going to shut a couple things down here. Oh boy. Oh yeah. Okay. I see. That's a pro. That's a hot son bitch. Was it Monday, Wednesday, and Friday? Sound quality just dropped. Oh, jeez. Things just go to hell, or what? You know, I'm not using that right now, so goodbye. Okay, let's see what that does for us. Let's see what that does for us, ladies and germs. Thanks for letting me know about the echo. I don't think it was Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. I knew that Monday was doomed. It was a bad day. So, okay, then it was Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday that we used to stream because Monday was a bad day. I tried to do Monday, Wednesday, and Friday because I wanted to have a day in the middle of those for recording and posting and things like that, but naturally, that would just be too damn easy. That would just be too damn easy, and whenever it comes to YouTube, if something is easy, that means we can't do it. There's 2 horns up by the 69 Eyes. First thing recommended after that is Dignity by Opeth, which would not have been a bad follow-up. However, Vesperith coming up to finish up the Maru block with Fractal Flesh. Apologies that there was that gap in between there. Is this one going to work? Vesperith with Fractal Flesh. Let's see what we got. Wow. None of these are functioning. None of these are scrabbling. Well, it is what it is. What can you do? That's just how it works. There's a new Azaledyne coming out that is very correct. It is very much up in the air. And I'm leaning more towards probably not covering it. I don't know. I am flip-flopping on that one so damn much. Like last week, whenever we talked about this, it was like a guarantee that I wasn't going to talk about it. But I may break down and talk about it, mostly because it would be kind of silly for me to hold a grudge. I mean, there'd be good reason, considering what happened. However, I don't know. This is really rough. This is really, really rough. If I had to pick between Clandestine and Left Hand Path, that would be Left Hand Path for me, pen pencil. Big Dog. Wow. Big Dog literally sends a donation in. Wow. Bro, thank you. I was having a little fun with you. But Big Dog 04, being the big dog, He says to put it toward number 1. Thanks for all the awesome music suggestions. Hey, Big Dog, you have essentially 10 minutes worth of airtime with that $10. Recommend me a track, or recommend me 2 tracks. Recommend me 2 songs that add up to the 10 minutes, or 1 song that is 10 minutes. That way you get something out of your donation. We'll worry about the donations that are just, out of the goodness and kindness of your heart whenever we do our last stream of the year, and last stream quote unquote ever. But yeah, Left Hand Path is ridiculous. Like, that's just, it's a metal classic for a reason. Clandestine's not bad. I'm not saying Clandestine sucks and Left Hand Path is like God. You know what I mean? Clandestine's a good album, but the attitude and the overall feel of Left Hand Path is just one of its kind whenever it comes to Entombed. And it's unfortunately something where they've not been able to, I think, reach that peak intensity after that. They've just never been able to do it. Big Dog, I'm glad I was able to do that. I'm glad that I was able to turn your attention towards some great bands. I'm hoping to still do that a little bit before we go the way of Jenko Jeans, Pogs, and disco. Hope that I have a couple more great recommendations for you in me. There is remorse that is there, and I guess that it took a lot for the band to decide to work with him again. He had to do a lot of soul searching and a lot of forgiveness. I believe that why folks were so kind of torn between it was that it seemed that right after he was released from prison, As I Lay Dying came back, and they kind of failed to recognize that there were no doubt conversations that were taking place for a long time. I myself, I feel like I was a bit harsh on the guy, but I believe it's also fair. Infinite Annihilator? Very good. Yeah, man, that is, it's wild how good they are. They have a ton of talent. Lyrically, I'm going to aside from Tim Limbestis for a moment to talk about how Infinite Annihilator's lyricism is really just aiming to be as repugnant as possible. But if you ever have a moment, look into Yagabaoth. Look into what that actually is. It actually goes back to Platoism and Gnosticism, and speaks directly about the demiurge. If that's all Greek to you, then any Wikipedia article or internet article is going to be your best friend, because you're going to learn a shitload. And you realize by looking at that some of the song titles and even some of the overall song concepts, despite the fact that they've been warped by deliberately perverse lyricism, a lot of those song titles and concepts are directed around some of the articles and the main philosophical arguments or lore of those two brands of philosophy. So, very, very interesting stuff, and that's, I think, what makes the band a bit unique, is that their lyricism does have the same perversion and the same... It's really off-putting to a lot of folks. It's meant to be sort of as extreme as possible. However, there's an actual method to their madness. And that by itself is impressive. And I will give them that. I will 100% give them that because of it. Justin Neely gave us Legend of the Seagullman, and more specifically the track The Fogger which we are up to right now, and we're going to check it out. This is, as he states, a little bit more ambience. I wonder if this one's going to scrabble. We're about to find out. That's another big no. Oh my goodness. This thing is very, very picky. I was hoping that I was going to be able to use this tool for you guys. So if you were listening to a stream and heard a track that you really liked but maybe missed the name, you'd be able to go to this webpage, this Last.fm page, and find it. However, not so much. Wolverine Blues is another amazing album. I believe that one is Big Dog. This grid is for you. And Aeon is phenomenal. Thus Ocean Swells. Consider it done, my friend. Consider it done. Universal Scrobbler is your savior. I'd have to look into that. Might be able to have that ready and raring for the next stream. Very cool. Okay, I'll have to look into that. This is from Legend of the Seagullmen's, their debut album, which was released in 2018, which I remember it dropping, but I don't recall listening to it, so I don't think I did. How did I scrabble back in the day? Waterblanc, I didn't use YouTube at all. I 100% used Winamp. I think I may have also had a scrobbler for Windows Media Player and iTunes, because back then I had an iPod, and it had advertised that you could get your information off of your iPod of the songs that you played and have them scrobbled whenever you hooked up your iPod to the computer through iTunes. So I just used those devices because I never used to use YouTube in order to listen to music. Not unless it was a brand new song or something like that. Everything was on Winamp because I had, and imagine how much this would crash streams these days, but at one point I had 2 external hard drives that were hooked up to a laptop, and the music was being drawn from that constantly. Oh man, I'm stoked to hear that Neon song. That's a band that I wish that I'd be able to talk about one more time. But Malady, there's going to be a new Malady disc, and oh man, am I stoked for that! You know how badly I freaking cheesed for Of Harm and Salvation. That album was just ridiculously awesome, and just wow. I'm stoked. I'm stoked for the new Malady. I'm really stoked for the new Malady. Evil Ted, we'll see you later. Thanks for stopping by. And hey, thank you very much for the track. I appreciate it. Hey, Evil Toad, next stream's going to be tomorrow. It's going to be tomorrow, man. There's still fans of Chris Brown? Of course there is. Oh, yeah. That's the thing, you know. There's still fans of Tim Limbestis. There's still fans of Chris Brown. There's still fans of Ian Watkins, brother. And I would say that by comparison to what Watkins, or what Tim did, Tim Limbestis of As I Lay Dying, for those who do not know, Ian Watkins of Lost Prophets far and away superseded the expectations of being a frickin' douche canoe. Because not only did he participate in sexual assault on an infant, but from prison he was grooming other women to do it. And there were groups on Facebook and social media that were all about free Ian Watkins. Free Ian Watkins. And they were not groups that were largely populated, so there's a very good opportunity, or a very good chance, that some of those that he groomed, he probably was able to reach out during a during a computer time, because they do get, there are some rights whenever you're in prison, and it's based off of your behavior, usually within incarceration. But yeah, I was going through some of my old videos. I was going through some of my old videos last week, and noticed that I did a CKN reacts to Watkins grooming folks from prison. And I had forgotten completely about it. I haven't done a CKN reacts in a long, long time. Those were those old news videos. I almost did one for Rick from the Cars. I almost did an old school rest in peace video. But I shut those down in 2018 or 2017. It was one of those 2 years, and said never again. So it was better off for me to honor my that commitment. Though it would also be something to consider to do if there would be a big death after the channel was gone, to offer my thoughts. Legend of the Seagull Man, that was a good track. Not what I expected whenever mention was made of style. So good on you, Justin. That was. I'm going to have to look more into them. Again, I feel like I've heard stuff from them before. Like maybe I listened to part of the album last year, or maybe it was requested in a prior stream. But that sounds so familiar, and it just, whenever that happens, it doesn't stop pulsing in my brain. Oh boy. We have Serenity Painted Death from Opeth coming up next. God, I just freaking love this song. I love it. Is this one going to Scrabble or no? Oh, this one works. Yay! BTBM, is that meant to be Between the Buried and Me? Because if it's between the Buried and Me and the Contortionist, it's Between the Buried and Me. Every time, brother. Between the Buried and Me has an album that I would consider a brand new classic within their discography, which is Colors. I would consider Colors a new classic, 100%. Oh, Burden's amazing. Hours of Wealth are great. From Opeth, both of those tracks. If you like softer material, go back to Harvest, go back to Face of Melinda. If I'm being real here, it's hard to really target a poor Opeth album completely. And I know everyone's going to say, oh, well, this recent stuff where there's been no growling, that's the worst. It's a personal preference. You enjoyed Opeth with growls. But I'm saying from an objective point of view, not being completely spurned by subjective taste. So, I don't know. What would you guys consider? Well, in fact, you know what? We're going to put it prior to 2010. We're going to put it prior to Heritage. So from, wow, from Orchid. Wow, that was just brain going bye-bye. Brain just said, see you later. So, not including the prog rock Opeth albums. So, not including Heritage, Pale Communion, Sorceress, and of course we don't know what the new one is just yet. What would you say is the worst Opeth album? What would you say is the worst Opeth album from those? So, we're looking Orchid, Morning Rise, My Arms, Your Hearse, Still Life, Blackwater Park, Deliverance, Damnation, Ghost Reveries, etc. That's why, oh man, that's why my brain was dying, because I can't think of the, there's one that I can't think of. Damn it. And you know the worst part about it? It has Burden on it, and I love that song. That song is amazing. The title is just on the tip of my tongue and not coming anywhere. Fuck, I hate that. This right here, great. Musical chubby right now. Even worse whenever the cleans start. God damn. There is music and then there is Opeth. Damn right. Watershed. Thank you, Scott. Man. I should have thought it's a watershed moment. Ugh. I have a difficulty remembering that album. It's not a bad album. Hessian Kill's a great song. Like I said, the aforementioned Burden is tremendous. It's hard for me to say that Orchid is all that bad because it's a different style. It's raw as can be. It's not completely unfamiliar territory for the time, but it is different enough where songs like The Twilight Is My Robe is, really sounds different and gave it real personality. Watershed might end up being my pick of the worst of the growling era, because despite of it being such a solid and just terrific disc, it's the one that, aside from a couple of items here and there, feels a bit forgettable. And I know that's not going to be a popular answer right there. But Morning Rise, what I remember about that album is that every song was over 10 minutes. And it also has To Bid You Farewell, which is an amazing song that I shared with somebody for a number of years. And it also has Black Rose Immortal, which might be one of the best, if not the best, Opeth songs ever recorded. Yeah, once again, calling the worst for anything Opeth is kind of like saying, a Mercedes-Benz is the worst upper-class vehicle. Oh man, it's a Mercedes-Benz, but it's not a Beamer. It's a Mercedes-Benz. It's not this, $200,000 BMW or, whatever. My knowledge of, expensive cars these days is not a Maserati. That's essentially what you're saying whenever it comes to Opeth. Morning Rise is amazing. That's an album you don't hear much about, is the funny thing. Like, even in groups, it's kind of like a hush-hush disc. Oh! Jesus, just tug on me. It's like your mother choosing between you and your sister. Yeah, that's a good comparison. That's a solid comparison. Yeah. It is like a mother trying to choose between her children. It's... that each of them have separate talents. Each of your children are different. Even if they're twins, they have, little things that make them different. But, a good mother will never be able to directly call one of her parents, one of her children, shitty. Notice how I said a good mother. So if your mother was, directly saying to, your sister Robin, wow, she's a cunt, might not be a good mom. Unless Robin truly is a cunt. Is Robin really a cunt? So if Robin's really a cunt, then I guess your mom's just being honest. Tech D, take care. Thank you very much for stopping by. We'll see you tomorrow, man. Yeah, this is probably going to be a shorter stream, so we're probably going to be wrapping up pretty soon also. We have 3 tracks on the queue currently. We have 3 tracks currently up to be played. We have Bellacore Smoke of Many Fires coming up after this. We have Donkey-Headed Adversary of Humanity by Sleepy Time Gorilla Museum. If you don't know that name, stick around for that song. Sleepy Time Gorilla Museum is nuts. I love that band. They're just really, really unique. And man, I have really fallen out of knowledge of their shit. And I just realized that I have none of their albums. I'm pretty sure none of their albums are on my want list on Discogs, and that's going to change tonight. That's going to change like the minute that the stream ends. Bellacore, I believe I also have nothing on my want list over there. That also has to change. But then also, directly after that, we have Thus Oceans Swells by Aneon, which, if that ends up being the final track, I may have to interject with one final cut of my own that would also be from Aneon. They are a band that sadly never got on my last FM, so oh boy, that's going to be fun. RMG, take care, my friend. If you have the opportunity to come back and we're still going, come on back. I would love to see you. If not, I'll see you tomorrow, buddy. Thank you. Serenity Painted Death also just cuts off like that because of the conceptual nature of that album. This album, as well as My Arms, Your Hearse, guaranteed concept. Though the way in which they handle it on My Arms, Your Hearse is a little bit different. And it was really, really neat the first time that I figured out, which was like whenever I was reading the book. Whenever I was reading the lyrics, like after I purchased the record back in 2000. Because whenever I started getting into Opeth, I got those albums very quick. Smoke of Many Fires by Bellacore coming up next. This one's A-okay. This was recommended and funded by our good friend Brad Harris, who has been hanging out with us, I believe, the past couple of weeks. Always awesome to initiate somebody brand new into the club that is CKN Club. Before I started streaming, I could have initiated all of you into Kitten Club because I had basically all 7 of them in here. And in fact, whenever the stream began, Mittens was to my right, and a couple of the others were scattered about. But the minute that Faith came home from her dentist appointment, they scattered and wanted to go see her. Do I still hail Black Rose Immortal as my favorite Opeth song? My last FM would not support that at all. But I would say that for the grandiose vision of that track, the fact that it is able to juxtapose between raw and very soft and haunting, if it is not my favorite song, it would certainly be top 3. I just don't know what song could potentially supersede it. Imperator Glaber, how you doing? Thank you very much. Love you too. You are the man/woman/person. Right back at you. That's basically what I'm saying. Song name is Smoke of Many Fires. And the band is Bellacore. That's what you're currently hearing. Now, if you're wondering about my about the song that we are discussing that is not currently playing is Black Rose Immortal from Opeth off of their album Damnation. Or Morning Rise. I read Damnation in the freaking chat. God. Nebulum Grove is a good track. November's Doom is a consistent band. The thing about November's Doom is that you may not necessarily ever feel that any of their albums are album of the year worthy. But they'll always be in that conversation of, say, top 20, 25. They feel a bit like, comparatively to Insomnium, Swallow the Sun. They're kind of like the third place in that little grouping, with Daylight Dies, I would say, bringing up the rear. If you wanted to make like a big four of melodic doom metal, if that's what you would call that, you'd probably toss, I don't know, between Swallow the Sun and Insomnium, that's a tough sell. Because Swallow the Sun has become impressive lately, like, just incredible. They were always very good. They were always very good, but Songs from the North 1, 2, and 3 was a hell of a labor, and one that should not have kept attention as thoroughly as it did for being a 3-disc set. What's funny, and this is an aside, is that we have seen within the last couple of years, and in fact it may have been within the same year, correct me if I'm wrong, but Skahamish's Triangle and Swallow the Sun's Songs of the North, 2 triple albums that both did a damn good job not only keeping your attention, but had damn good music within it. Unfortunately, with the streams, the way it works in Imperator, whenever you request a song, it's a dollar per minute. And you either donate through Super Chat down there on YouTube, or use the PayPal link that is below. I could, if you really wished, I could react to it, though, yes. If you do fund the song and I'm able to play it, you gotta be on YouTube. Song has to be on YouTube. Melodic Death Doom. Oh yeah, Omnium Gatherum. See, that's the thing. There's a video that I do need to still record called Why the Big 4 Could Be a Big 6. There's another great example there, because Insomnium, or not Insomnium, but Omnium Gatherum, right there within that same conversation of styles of groups. In fact, some would probably replace Daylight Dies altogether with Omnium Gatherum. Hey, Imperator, thank you so much. I appreciate that. If you're broke, my man. You know, I'm just happy to have you hang around. What is the song? What is the song? I'm just very curious. I'm wondering if it's something that I already know. God, Eternal Tears of Sorrow. Good lord, man, we're going back. Not really, though, considering we've talked about their more modern releases, but man, I can remember, like, what is it, The Angel and the Whore from back in the day? Because I remember the song The River Flows Frozen. I was in college whenever I was listening to that song frequently. Rapture. Wow! Tossing some names that just are channeling memories aplenty. Because whenever these bands all started to flow and come out, it was over the course of a couple of years, but they were heralded with a lot of applause. Oh, Enterprise Earth! Shame to be human. I don't feel I know that, but I know Enterprise Earth. What album is that off of? My brain is good, but it's not that good. I can tell you if I recognize band names. Whenever it comes to song titles, I'm stupid as shit. Unless it's something that I listened to at least 50 times. Probably in like 2006. It's off of the new one? Okay, then I don't know it. I'm familiar with their older material. One sec. Don't try to post a link in chat, by the way. Don't try to post a YouTube link in chat. It won't work. Only mods can do that. Enterprise Earth is a deathcore band? I understand that. I understand that. Now check out the new Shadow of Intent. It's on my list. I have that available to me to listen to. At this point, it probably won't get a review, but I wanted to factor into Album of the Year potentially. Oh no, you're okay, Imperator. It's okay. I was really impressed by that new Infinite Annihilator that was released last week. A week ago today. Actually, a week ago today, my great-uncle passed. 9/11, my great-uncle passes at 97 years old, and Infinite Annihilator releases the Battle of Yagaboth. Yagaboeth. And I'll mention it again because I did talk about this earlier, but just take that last word, Yagaboeth, and research it, and damn, you're going to find a lot of interesting stuff. And notice a couple of things that were on that album that applied to it. The entire Eyes of the Die album is linked onto YouTube. That's pretty cool. I'm not totally surprised. I have a feeling that there will be some that do not have or do not wish to forgive Tim Lembestis for what happened, but they will still download the hell out of that album. In the '97, I'm thinking of how many albums roughly I've listened to in my lifetime, and I'm 35. If I'm 97, holy crap! If I still have my hearing, if I still had my hearing, and I was by myself. Now, see, my great uncle, he was alone for only 3 years. His wife died in 2016, and she was a woman who was in her early 90s at that point. He was 94, I believe she was 91 when she passed, but she had dementia for 12 years prior to that, so he was waiting, basically helping her out hand and foot and making sure that she, didn't fall or, something bad happened. It sounds like a joke, but you have to sort of keep track of them and make sure they don't, put their hand on a burner or, try to reach for something in the garbage disposal while it's turned on. You kind of have to keep an eye on them. But I'm thinking, man, if I knew I was living to 97 and I'm like 80 years old, I've got nobody, everybody I love is dead. I believe at that point, I just put every single piece of music I own on a giant hard drive or hard drives. I get a computer that has some decent processing power, which at that point, the computer will be the size of my pinky. And I think for the next 17 years, the last 17 years of my life, I just listen to everything that I have. Scrounging, obviously. If it's still around. Donkey-headed adversary of humanity opens the discussion. That is not a random phrase. It is actually the title of our next request. So Donkey-headed adversary of humanity opens the discussion by Sleepy Time Gorilla Museum. I was pimping these guys out a little bit prior. Now you have the opportunity to enjoy. Oh, of course, what a time for... Amon has, to me at least, sort of faded a bit. They were a group that a couple of years ago, really, I would say more so during the turn of the decade, I was pretty into, and I just got to the point where I don't know, something just happened. It just doesn't vibe with me as much. Search Rising, we did a review of back whenever it came out, and what was that, 13, I think it was. I do believe the video for it ended a 24 hours of coverkillernation event back then. But recently I've just not been as sort of attached to them. The song name? Well, user, the song name is a bit long. The song title is Donkey-Headed Adversary of Humanity Opens the Discussion. I'm going to do you a favor and post this in chat, because this did not scrabble. No surprise. Brad, we'll see you later. Next stream is going to be tomorrow. It will probably begin a little bit earlier than this one did. This one started at about 5. 2011. Thank you, OA. You know what's really ironic right now? On my dashboard, it says the stream's offline. And it never came back. But obviously, I'm still online. I'm still up and running. So, whatever. That quality looks like fucking poop, though. God damn. What the hell is happening? This is YouTube for you. This is YouTube for you, boys and girls. Justin Neely coming in with another request. Yeah. One thing that you're going to learn, Imperator, is that we do have a couple of really generous folks in the Cover Killer Nation, in CKN Club. Justin Neely, who just donated $4, said, "Let the person who's broke pick a number and a song." So Imperator, you have $4 to essentially play with. Give me a 4-minute long song. How long is that Enterprise Earth track? Is that Enterprise Earth track 4 minutes? Hell, we might just play it anyway. And he also, Imperator, you get to choose which of the 4 Bid War items, which are on the left-hand side of your screen, that $4 is going to go to. Ripstream? Shouldn't be. We should be up and running. That was very nice. I agree. Thank you, Justin. That was incredibly kind. This is not the first time that he has been incredibly kind, as all of us know. So, you want to go to the 50 albums of all time? Can be done and will be done. Not a problem, my friend. Puts that up to 336.61. Good golly, Miss Molly. Whenever we get to your turn, Imperator, we will have to... Oh, it's about 3 minutes. Okay. Well, then we're definitely going to play it. Remind me of the title one more time. I know it's from Enterprise Earth, but my memory's not that good. I am getting old. I'm a damn idiot. Waterblanc joining into the generosity. He wants OA to get a free one. So, OA, you can request a track that is 3 minutes in length, I want to say. He's going with the legend. So 253. OA, that 253 is also yours to dictate its destiny. 1, 2, 3, or 4. Once again, the Cover Killer Nation, CKN Club, incredibly selfless group of individuals. So welcome to the fold. That is what you call insanity. And hang on with Thus Ocean Swells coming up next off I had trouble with this in 2016. Hypnosophy. I think what's actually kind of hurting me, I have a chipped tooth that just fucks me so hard whenever it comes to pronunciation. Because it just causes so much spittle. But then Aeon with Thus Ocean Swells coming up next. Ashamed to be Human. Okay, very good. Is the echo back again? Boneyard by Parkway Drive. We can do it. We can do it. Where would that be headed, OA? Put it on top 60, or top 50 rather, yes. Very good, very good. Hey, you get nailed to the cross. I'll nail you to a cross. God damn it. Give you some cross purposes. There we go. Yeah, this is getting ridiculous. Imperator is playing a little devil's advocate there. I appreciate that. I like it. I don't know, Waterblown. I got that pro wrestling experience. Oh hey, I'll see you later, man. We'll get that track in. Oh wow, I just realized that I have something on here that's so old school. Ugh. Not very loud? That's surprising. That is very surprising. That should be... There we go. Should help a little bit. We will probably be heading out very soon as well. We have Enterprise Earth coming up next with their track Ashamed to Be Human, and then we'll get to Boneyard by Parkway Drive. I really should actually wait on that. So I may actually opt to do that. That way OA gets to hear his own request. Because that is usually a rule on this channel, is that if you happen to leave before your song gets played, we save it for later. I can play the song tomorrow. We will do that. We will do that. And you make sure to make a note of that. Hopefully we'll have a better frame rate tomorrow too. God damn. This one has been an interesting one. Yep, we got that in for you. Just remind me tomorrow, which I'm sure you will. Which I am sure you will, so no worries. If we're doing co-op, you want Mario as your tag in? Damn, I might be in trouble. Actually, no, you might be in trouble. I will use Seduction. And it will be only moderately effective. My tag-in will be, I think I'm going to go with the immortal, I don't know, somebody. I want Hulk Hogan because he's a racist. I want the Ultimate Warrior because he's dead, and well, even if he wasn't, he would probably hold out for more money. I don't know, maybe I'll just get Ric Flair. Maybe I'll just get Ric Flair. He doesn't even have to take any bumps. All he has to do is come in the ring, yell woo a bunch of times, and then tag me right back in. It's all good. It's whatever. It'll be purely for imitation purposes only. No he'll come in and he'll do all that. He'll strut around and he'll drop an elbow on his jacket. Y'all won't know what to do. Y'all be flim-flammed, smeckledorfed, bamboozled. Be bamboozled. Favorite Opeth album is Still Life. That will always be true. Rant videos are doing great. I try. Really, with those, I kind of have to try. These days, I kind of have to try. Anything that's rant-worthy over the past couple of years, I've had to put myself in the spirit of the season, if you know what I'm saying. It's not quite as trigger-happy as it once was. Biratora, is that loud enough for you? It sounds like this song is just a little softer than some of the others. Favorite black metal band? Emperor. I've had a hard on for Emperor for a long time, if I'm being real. We're going to go with Ashamed to Be Human by Enterprise Earth. That looks like it to be our finale for this evening, unless anybody has anything to say about that. Actually, that's just maintained it. Cool. So it looks like we are going to be departing on a deathcore / thrash. These guys are a little bit of a hybrid. We need to do a video, and in fact, it is set to happen. I just need to actually hit record and talk. Oh, excuse me. About hybrid metal and why it should truly be a thing. And I know that I'll just be preaching to a very, very small choir, or basically thrusting my bright idea onto a world that has no desire to go along with it. But hybrid metal should really be a thing. It really ought to be. I know that later on tonight I have a couple of packages that I need to get together for some folks that have bought some items off of Discogs from the CD sale. A couple things I didn't expect to sell actually did, which is pretty crazy. Sadomasochism as well as Reverted. "12 decades ago, God. It's a long time ago. It's 120 years ago. Jeepy Creebies. Well, I disconcur. I feel that it's got viability. And I'm also a hard-headed asshole. But, that is a video that needs made. If y'all want to check out the Discogs page, it is the same as the channel page. coverkillernation is my name over there. There are still, I think, about 140 titles that are available for sale. Good old Justin knows all about that. He's actually picked up a couple from them thus far. I think there's been a few others that have as well, considering I've seen some comments about CKN and stuff like that. So, very cool that y'all have decided to go over there and pick up a couple discs. There's a little bit of everything over there, because basically my collection is extremely vast. It's very strange, and I also have stuff in there that were not originally mine. Basically, I was told, hey, I don't want these anymore. Sell them for me and keep the money. And I'm just like, oh, okay. Basically, that's whenever somebody says, I don't want to be fucked with this. Here, you fuck with this. That's going to do it. We are going to reconvene tomorrow. The Enterprise Earth Trek, what I like about those guys is that they are not pure deathcore. There's a lot of thrash that is sort of mired behind that. There's a little bit of the death metal sound that is the death metal side of the deathcore. And honestly, very similar to what I stated about Infinite Annihilator, the breakdown that song possessed did not feel like it was simply there and simply existed because this is when you get the pit going at the show. It felt like a natural part of the song. It was not forced. It was not forced. So I like the track. Like I said, I haven't listened to their brand new album yet, so I will have to. I'll have to do that. Thank you very much for the request, Imperator. I appreciate it. Thanks to Justin, who was able to pass along a couple bucks your way, so you can do that. Thanks to Waterblanc, to Scott, to Brad Harris, Scott McCumber, to the Big Dog, who hooked us up with some Neon. That was super cool. To Evil Toad, who has been departed for a bit. To Justin. Justin, of course, always have to send some big-time love his way. PlayStation Metalhead starting us off. Guacamole, GN, getting it done. Maru, cannot forget Maru, as well as Dom. And we're going to toss a thank you to Gamma Angel, though surprisingly he hasn't criticized my Rank 'em All list yet. Rank 'em All Arion now up and running on the channel. But I'll see you guys tomorrow. We'll probably start around 4 Eastern time, maybe a little earlier than that, so be on the lookout for it. I will talk to you then. Take care, and thanks for stopping by.